see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us names. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 831 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and it's Monday, March 24th, 2025. This morning I'm enjoying a fresh cup of medium roast Honduran from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for bad coffee. At Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clean stream air roaster. More than just a customer, your family. Get 10% off with LOTS10 and coupon code LOTS10, LOTS10, and shipping's always free. While you're there, check out the C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Today, we've got a packed show again. We're talking about Comfrey install trip to Delinquents Gully, some new fold referral incentives, and places to earn Bitcoin. My thoughts on the movie Limitless, which we watched earlier this week, and a quick look at what's coming up in this coming week. So grab your coffee, smash the like button, and let's get started. Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone doing today? Getting everything set up here still working on the making the once a week work. When show was every day, it was easier to have everything set up and leave it set up, and it worked. And now everything gets kind of wonky once a week. Last night I popped on and was checking out some stuff on StreamYard, and somehow my camera got switched, so I was able to rectify that last night instead of trying to have to do it this morning, which was very nice, very nice. Let's see who's hanging out in the chat. We got John Palmer. Good morning, good day, good week to you, sir. And Hunter over on Twitch already. Good morning, Hunter. How's it going? I'm not sure if ZapDrop Stream is going to work for me today or not. It's rolling. It looks like it's rolling. ZapDrop Stream has been down for a couple of weeks of the show, and it looks like it's back up now. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, it was a good week. Had a good week here. Relatively nice weather. Got a bunch of stuff accomplished yesterday. Finally tackled our sink again. We had been a while. We had the sink leaking here. I think there's a crack actually in the sink. As I'm just gonna chase it forever, but it gets better, and then it gets worse, and then it gets worse, and then it gets worse enough that I need to fix it. Good morning, Mike's Homestead. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you. So yesterday I made a trip and got a new the insert. I don't know what you would call it, the drain insert for the sink, and this one came with a couple gaskets on the bottom actually, and then the plumber's putty, and it seems like it'll hold better. We'll find out. It's tough to dump much money at all into the camper when we're going to be building something else right away, and yeah. It is a frustrating mess because trying to work under that RV sink is rough, and like I said, it's cracked, it's kind of bent, and getting everything to seal up is interesting, even with plumber's putty and now the two gaskets. So we'll see how it works, and hopefully that rectified that. But anyway, let's get into what we got going on. Good morning, Rewilder Lives. Thanks for stopping in. Snow there. Dogs getting manhood removed. Busy morning. Oh, snip day. Snip. We were just talking about, Corey and I got talking about Walter and his enormous manhood that he had removed. And it was interesting because he was so bright white. He had white puffy fur all on his tail, all on his legs, all around there, and then his sack, for lack of a better term, was just bright pink and no hair, no nothing. And they were enormous, and they just hang there. And it was like when the hypnotist uses the watch. Yeah, it's a train wreck. Can't look away. Just can't look away. So have fun with that. And so you put dogs. Was the older one not neutered currently? Are you getting them both done together, or how is that going down? Anyway, let's move on and get a sip of this medium Honduran. Then we can talk about Delinquents Gully and our trip out there yesterday. Corey and I went out and spent the day at Delinquents Gully. Well, part of the day, half the day, morning. Was that yesterday? Shit, I think that was Saturday. Holy crap, missing days here. Yesterday I worked inside all day. We were supposed to get rain most of the day. We planned our outside stuff on Saturday, and then yeah, it didn't end up raining too bad yesterday. Just a couple of random showers. But I guess this was Saturday. We went out to Delinquents Gully. I don't even know. Before we move on, Rachel says, thankfully the boys are very hairy, but we've been having some aggression with the youngest. The older one never needed it, but we decided to do both of them. Yeah, it's probably a good idea you do both of them if you're going to do one of them. But best of luck with that. So Saturday, it was Saturday. Corey and I went out. I know where I messed up. So Corey took Friday off, spent the day doing groceries and laundry and hanging out and whatnot on Friday. So that's where I got a little off on my days. Just normally working on Friday, and we go do that stuff on Saturday. But so Saturday we went out to Delinquents Gully. I got in the mail an order of Comfrey to install in the food forest, and so I had it shipped out here. And our plan is, I guess we followed through with the plan, was to plant at least one root next to the trunk or the base of each of the fruit trees in the food forest. Sorry, I got sick of the French press, guys. I'll tell you one thing. If you want to make some good coffee, definitely consider picking up an AeroPress. It is unbelievable way to make coffee. I like this morning. See, I have this mug here. I made an extra mug with the AeroPress, so I didn't have to use my French press because I'm pretty much over the French press. And the AeroPress is great. The only thing lacking from it is size. It'll make you 1 cup. It'll make you, I guess you could. I'm going to do some experimenting with stacking on some extra weight in there and pouring a bigger cup of coffee, but we'll see how it goes. It'll just be a really big Americano, I guess. Anyway, I got my coffee poured here and back to Delinquents Gully. Our plan was to plant a comfrey root next to each fruit tree, and then whatever else got sent in the package, because I told my friends at comfreyroots.com to send me out a large package. I needed at least 20, but whatever was laying around when orders were processed, they could throw in. I had plenty of room to put it in. So we got one next to each fruit tree, and then we identified some other places that we wanted to install more, and so we got some put around. If you've been out to Delinquents Gully, the big, large tree, it would be at the north side of the food forest that we're not going to cut down. If you've been there and seen it, you know what tree I'm talking about. But we put some around the base of that tree. And then on the south side of the creek that runs through the food forest, we installed like 7 large clusters, so like 2 or 3 plants together, spread out along that creek, so to kind of fill in, leaving a walkway to get across the creek. The idea is the roots that were put next to the fruit trees will be used as weed cover, as chop and drop biomass, and composting and mulch to put around those trees, and then also bringing the nutrients from below up to the soil of those fruit trees. And by the way, the fruit trees, good morning, Canadian Farmstead. Fruit trees are all starting to pop. I shouldn't say all starting to pop. A lot of them are starting to pop with beautiful pink, white flowers, leaves, little buds are all starting to come in. So it's getting exciting here in Tennessee with spring and the temps popping up. Had one night overnight that was a little chilly, 29, I think, 27. So it didn't seem to affect them too bad. So the fruit trees, it's intended for that tree, each one, and it'll just get chopped, dropped there, and then also with shading the soil and moisture retention and everything like that. Rewilder Life says she's adding walking onions around her trees now too. I have a feeling that that Carrie Brown, who's doing the consulting on the food forest, has all sorts of stuff in store. When we put in the fruit trees, we also put in a bunch of ground herbs and wildflowers and all sorts of other stuff that are starting to pop too. We found some rosemary, some basil, I believe Corey found, possibly some oregano too, that is coming in just from last year's planting. So that's cool. And then the other plants along the edge of the creek, we're going to use for the roots we'll use for propagation on the property or locally, or rolling into the sales for comfreyroots.com. And the biomass we'll be using for mulch, for composting, have some compost tea projects going, some compost tea and biochar projects in the works, things like that. So it's going to be a lot of biomass, a lot of leaves, a lot of goodness with those Comfrey leaves. So I think we ended up installing about 50 roots spread out over that food forest. So excited to see those coming in. Plus we have Mike's Homestead, who joined us earlier. He brought us a nice big bag from one of the work days. That patch is still cultivated and growing there. That's still good. And then we have a couple of other test spots on the property where we've planted different Comfrey places. While we were out there, we also went up to our cabin site. Corey hadn't seen the driveway yet. She checked out the driveway. 90% of the driveway. It's not quite done yet. But we did mark out again with some better accuracy and with things starting to get put in place, a little bit better idea than just a blank canvas. The footprint of where our cabin was going to be. We also had to decide where we wanted our parking pads, I guess you would call them. So as the driveway comes up to the top of the hill, it levels out. And we wanted some places either on both sides or one side where you could have multiple cars parked, turn around, or, with a trailer, you could turn around, things like that. So we marked that out. We marked out a couple more trees that we want done, stumps pulled out, and really just kind of outlined the edge of what our zone 1 will be, the house and the yard, gardens close to the house. And I think it's going to be a really nice area. We just stood in the middle and you looked, and there was almost a natural outline, natural ring of trees that if you just got to those trees and went, it just made sense. So mark those up. I got to convey that message to the guy doing the dirt work in the driveway, that those are marked out. Let them know where we want those, and that should be done in the next couple of weeks, I believe. So getting on that list for getting the posts and the roof installed, and that'll be the next step there. One thing interesting when we were out at Delinquents Gully, we were walking around kind of just checking in on things, had to go up to Tim's cabin to grab some tools. And so we're walking up and we're kind of, you just walk around and make sure everything is looking good and nothing looks out of sorts. And we walk around the back of the cabin. And Corey's kind of walking around, and I'm walking over to check the shed, since we had have some high winds and everything. I was wondering if it had tipped over and or moved anything on the base. And all of a sudden I look down and I'm like, what is that? And I'm over by the mushroom logs. I'm kind of looking, and there's this big thing on the ground. Didn't really look. I didn't know what the hell it was. And I'm looking. I'm like, is that shit? What is that? And so I started looking a little bit more, and I looked down at my foot, and I was standing in a pile of cow shit. There were multiple piles of cow shit all around. I mean, like right next to the shed, right next to the cabin. We found hoof prints where it looks like a cow might have got loose close. Basically following the hoof prints, walked down the trails that we've made, walked by the cabin, kind of hung out there, maybe itched itself on the edge of the cabin on some stuff there, walked his way through down the path, kept going down the path, took a little meandering walk through the property, and ended up getting a drink in the creek, and then his trail kind of disappeared. So I don't know where he came from. I talked to Tim, and he said there is a big old cow pasture one property south of us, I believe. So it might have got one popped out and did a little wandering. And I don't know if it's still around or what's going on, but yeah, now there's big old cow patties everywhere, which is interesting because I have been looking into biodigesters, and the main source that the guy that I'm watching his videos, the main source he gets for his fodder, his feed stock for his biodigester is cow patties. So maybe I should save them and see what happens. I'm guessing there isn't any short supply of cow shit around here that I could go pick up out of the fields if I wanted to tinker around with the biogas. So Canadian Farmstead says, yay, free fertilizer and beef. I was thinking that it smelled when I stepped in it, and it had been a while since I'd been around cow shit on the ground. So let's see. That was Comfrey and the footprint. And yeah, the cow. It was just weird. It was so out of place and random that there was just like several piles of cow shit and some hoof prints. So anyway, spring is here. We just installed our comfrey, but if you've been thinking about planting comfrey, now's the time to get it in the ground. Head on over to comfreyroots.com, comfreyroots.com, to grab your Bocking number 4 root cuttings. It's perfect for building soil, feeding livestock, and starting your own food forest fertilizer system. Supplies are moving fast, so don't wait. Visit comfreyroots.com and get growing comfrey today. You can always reach out to me with any questions or issues you're having with your comfrey plants, and hopefully I can help you the way I helped Hunter over there on Twitch. We've been working on some little projects down there for growing comfrey in the heat of Texas. So comfreyroots.com is your place to get comfrey, and if you know anybody looking, definitely send them over there. Anyway, Hunter says it's hardy AF, hardy as fuck over there in Texas with the roots that we. It just took a little tinkering, a little troubleshooting, and a little trial and error, and we figured out how to get the plants well established before the psycho heat in Texas. So hopefully the plants do well again this year, and Hunter can keep on moving on with those plants. Anyway. New fold updates. Got an email the other day. If you're using fold, this is old news unless you don't check your email or it goes to your spam. But new referral rewards. And why I think this is important is if you're not using the fold card, what the fold card is, this is a debit card. You hook it to your bank account. You can have part or all of your paycheck deposited to it. Basically, it's an app like your banking app, and you also have a physical card. You get Bitcoin rewards. Instead of airline miles, instead of grocery points or gas points, you get returns in Bitcoin. So there's been a lot of change over the years. So I've been using it for almost 3 years now. There's been a lot of change over the years on how the reward system happens. It used to be super. if they were giving the rewards away they were 3 years ago. Now I don't even think they could be in business. It would be financially unattainable for them. But at the point we're at, basically you get the biggest rewards you're going to get are from buying gift cards, buying certain gift cards. They run specials and different higher percentage points and or percentages back for different gift card amounts. I do very well with Amazon gift cards, with Kroger gift cards where I buy my groceries. There's just a ton. There's a huge list of gift cards that you get pretty decent rewards back. You also get a slight percentage back on credit card swipes if you're not using gift cards. And then referrals. They have a referral system. And you say, well, you got to have an audience. You got to know people to get referral. Well, not really. Not really. And I was thinking about this after the new reward system came out. And basically, the new way they're doing it, they were doing it in denominated in Satoshis. So I think it was like new users get 30,000 Satoshis or 50,000 Satoshis or whatever, 20,000 Satoshis when they signed up and used their card for the first time. So that's the kicker. You got to sign up, order your debit card, deposit a little money if you want to give it a try, or if you believe me and realize that it's a decent way to stack some sats for free for stuff you're doing already. You fund the card and you make a purchase. You fund the card. You don't even need to wait for your card, since in the app, like I said, it was like your banking app. There is a routing number and a checking number right there, or a checking account number right there in your app that you can use to purchase online or anywhere you can manually put in the number. Why I say it's now easier to do a referral kind of thing on here is they've changed up the way they are compensating referrals. They've changed it into a dollar denomination. So basically, if someone signs up for Fold, and I think everybody in the audience is probably signed up, but anyway, I'm going to throw it in the video comments, and then I'll make sure this link is in the episode notes. But basically, sign up for Fold using someone's referral link. You're going to get, when you sign up, fund your card, and make a purchase, you make your first purchase, you're going to get $10 in Bitcoin. Whatever the price happens to be, you're going to get rewarded with $10 in Bitcoin. And I or whoever's referral link you use is going to get $5 in Bitcoin. You're also both going to get 100 reward spins. Basically, the reward spin, it used to be a big deal. In the app, there's a little game to earn some Satoshis, and basically you get like a spin or something a day. I think that might be for Fold Plus members, or I don't know what the scenario is on the daily spin. But basically, there's a rewards wheel, and when you sign up and make your first purchase, you get 100 spins on that, and so do I. So, or whoever you signed up using their link. And then beyond that, anytime the referred makes a purchase, the new person makes a purchase, the referrer, the person whose link you use, gets between 1 and 50 sats just randomly for every time you make a purchase on that card. And so I think if you're new, you don't have an audience, a community, and we all have communities. I mean, we all have communities. But if you start talking to people, I think you can build a small little network from people you know, friends and family. Talk to them about Fold. Talk to them about how you're using your debit card and earning a hard asset. You're stacking rewards that increase in value, that they get $10 in Bitcoin. I can't afford Bitcoin. Well, here's your answer. You hear that. I can't afford Bitcoin. Can you afford to use your debit card? Because I think you're doing that every day anyway. Here, you get $10 in Bitcoin. You also get 100 spins. And at some points, you could even win a whole Bitcoin on the spins in the app. So they've kind of switched up to going to dollar denominations. I was wondering when that was going to happen, because with the fluctuating price and the volatility of Bitcoin, giving away a flat sat amount is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. They also lowered the initial withdrawal limit to 30,000 sats. So you have to have 30,000 sats accumulated to withdraw from your rewards, which I think that's down from 50,000 to make things more accessible. And with the price going up, obviously the value of 50,000 is way is way more. Good morning, Chris Dixon. He says, good morning, kids. Can you start over? I wasn't ready. 26 minutes in, we got to rewind. Good morning. Welcome to episode 800. And you're gonna have to rewind, Chris. I apologize. So that's Fold. That's the update on the Fold rewards. It's really nice. I mean, basically, I think if you want to scam the system, if you just don't want it, but you want the $10 in free Bitcoin, you literally could sign up. You could link your bank account. Linking your bank account, don't get freaked out. They use Plaid. It's not a Plaid, 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 like the shirt color pattern. They use Plaid to securely link your bank account. It's going to pop up. Plaid's used across the industry as a secure linking service to bank accounts from these types of things. I think Square uses it, and Stripe, and all these different payment processors. So it's not a crypto scam. If you sign up for Fold and it's like, you need to sign into your bank account with Plaid, yeah, that's so you don't have to sign into your bank account with Fold. But basically, yeah, you sign up. You could literally deposit enough to make a purchase, a pack of gum or a soda or whatever you want to do, and buy it and never use it again, and take your $10 and run. I mean, I don't know why you would do that, but if you're just looking to go through the motions of getting the $10 in free Bitcoin, yeah, there you go. But anyway, thousands of dollars in Bitcoin rewards, and just adjusting your spending habits and your banking habits. Hunter says I failed my roundup. Yeah, they have several options there too. Bitcoin purchases, reoccurring purchases, roundup on your purchases. And the way the roundups work, basically, if you spend $9.50 and you have roundups turned on, they have a multiplier system where you can choose 1x, 2x, 3x, 5x. I don't remember how high it goes, but basically it takes the change, in this case 50 cents, and multiplies it by whatever you have set, and it saves that. It doesn't save the actual money. It saves the credit. Like, we're going to accumulate this up, and then once it gets to your minimum value, I think it's $10, it makes the purchase. But the wonky part is, and I almost found out that this the hard way, like Hunter did. It doesn't account for that in your debit card balance. So once the $10 threshold hits, if you run your balance down to nothing and you're under however much that auto buy is, your roundup purchase, it won't buy it. I had enough. All of a sudden I opened my account, and mine was relatively close to my funding date, because I have a direct deposit just put in there. And I looked, and my balance was $10 lower, and I was like, "Wait, what the hell happened?" And realized that yeah, when you have your roundup, you actually have to calculate it in your head. I have a note out to customer service on Fold to see if that is something that can be changed. Chris Dixon wonders if it's a physical card too, and it is. So you have your physical card, you have your app, which has all your checking and routing and card number information in it. You can freeze and unfreeze the account in your app. So I know a lot of people will freeze their account, I always have my phone on me when I have my card. And if I want to use it, basically get in line, open the app, hit unfreeze. You can swipe your card and then you can freeze it again. It's got a PIN number. It's a debit card. You're not going to get run like a credit card because it'll only authorize up to what you have in your account. It's a pretty solid way to stack sats. The other one I wanted to mention real quick was Ember. Been a slow month for me on Ember. Haven't had a whole lot of time to sit and really play the accumulating games on Ember. I've talked about it before. The accumulating games on Ember. I've described it like poker and blackjack. Basically, if you want to stack extra sats on Ember. Ember is basically an app you go on, you hit a button every day, and you start accumulating sats at a per hour rate. One of the hitches is you need to wager your sats that you've earned in a game, and then win them back. And when you win them back, you accumulate the ones you can actually withdraw. I've stayed pretty much even this whole time, but I've figured that if you can stay and grind it out like a blackjack player or a decent poker player, watch what's going on in certain games and just be conservative and take little wins. You can stack up pretty good. Last month I made 70,000 sats. Right now this month I'm coming up. I'm just a day over my withdrawal date. I'm just under 50,000, but I haven't really had the time to put into it to grind that out. But I'll take $50 a month in free Bitcoin. I'll take $30 a month in free Bitcoin. So whatever it turns out to be, if I have some extra time to play a little bit, even better. If not, man, you can't beat it. Canadian Farmstead says, I'm almost up to 10K for the first time. Man, you lose so much. You lose. You're not patient. I have a feeling you're just not patient. Be a grinder, man. So anyway, Ember, Fold, new incentives on Fold. So I think like to sum that up, like I was saying, I don't think you need a big following, a big audience to accumulate some onboarding, some free sats there to your family gatherings, to maybe your coworkers. If you are into Bitcoin, hopefully you've talked to them about Bitcoin. Hopefully you're not like, hey, have you guys heard about Bitcoin? Maybe you have. Anyway, you want to talk more about Fold? Let me know. Let's see. Next on the list. Limitless. You guys seen Limitless? Chris Dixon on the Ember games. He says spamming Plinko will bite you, and Canadian Farmstead knows that all too well. But basically, there's a Plinko game. If you remember the old Price is Right Plinko, and you can throw as many little pucks on there as you want and see how it rolls out, and sometimes doesn't work out for the best. Canadian Farmstead's been playing blackjack and doing okay. Grind it out on the blackjack. And John Palmer tries not to talk to people, and people appreciate that, John. I'm not saying that talking to people about Bitcoin is for everyone, and everyone shouldn't be out there talking to most people. Do you talk on the CBs, John, when you're driving? Do you talk on the CBs? On the Limitless. If you guys have seen Limitless, it's a movie from 2011. I recalled the premise. I recalled the basic storyline. Probably saw trailers for it or something like that. But from 2011, starred Bradley Cooper, Robert De Niro. Basic premise of the movie was guy was kind of, I don't know if the term is down on his luck. I don't know what the term is. if you're over on zap.stream, I apologize if you're commenting, because my thing just won't, my chat won't load over there. But I see there's been some people popping in, and I don't know if there's if the comments, but anyway, I don't know how to describe this guy. He was a writer. He wasn't getting anything accomplished. He would have, I guess you would have classified him as a loser, not really doing much, and down on his luck, having some tough time. And then he runs into to his ex-brother-in-law. So it was a weird story. And he offers him some drugs. The guy was a drug dealer when he knew him before. And he said, "No, I'm working for a pharmaceutical company now. This is a trial. It was a trial. It was a little clear pill, and what he said was, when you take it, it basically opens up 100% of your brain for functioning. Basically, he's like, so you've heard that, you only use 20% of your brain, I think, and he says you take this and it opens up 100%. Imagine what you could get done." And so the guy teeters back and forth, and he ends up taking the stuff, and the movie goes from there. And it really kind of, I'm not going to spoil the whole movie, but it wasn't everything it was cracked up to be, let's say. And it got me thinking a lot. And it's weird because the episode that was coming out today for Director Detour, it's already published, with Dr. Alan Salas. He's a chiropractor. He's from the south of France. He used to live on a boat and rent boats for a living, and decided he found a new life calling. Tells the story of becoming a chiropractor, and really diving into headspace after that, and the subconscious and limiting thoughts. And this movie Limitless, with the pill and opening up 100% of the brain, I'm curious if Dr. Salas's his philosophy, his techniques, and everything, working with the subconscious, working with limiting beliefs in the subconscious, if this is almost a form of the pill Bradley Cooper was taking in the movie. The pill, just so you know, the pill had some side effects. I don't think playing with your subconscious could have some side effects, but no chemically induced side effects. I think getting over some limiting beliefs, like Dr. Salas talks about, and working with that subconscious, can open up not necessarily 100% of your brain, but definitely propel you. Canadian Farm says I'd be happy to get up to 30%. I think just getting rid of some limiting beliefs and working with that subconscious could definitely get you up to that 30%, and at least more effective, more focused, more less feeling like a sloth. But basically, yeah, it was weird. We watched the movie. I believe it was the night that I recorded the interview, or the night after. And as I'm watching this movie, and the movie was really good, and it wasn't that I wasn't daydreaming, but it was like, man, I kept wondering, I kept saying to myself, man, it would be really cool to be able to do this. I really need this drug. I would be excited to turn on 100% of my brain and see how that worked. Test drive that for a day, and it really got me thinking about what Alan had talked about with clearing. That's his technique. It's called the mind clearing technique, or the mind clearing process. Basically, it erases the limiting thoughts that have been built up in your subconscious for your whole life. We talk about teachers telling you can't do things, or artists don't make any money, like all the things you hear people saying that they've heard over the years. Not necessarily one person's heard them all, but things that we pick up from our parents, from our teachers, from authority figures in our life, just all sorts of places. But that all stacks up in your subconscious. And basically, Alan says you can clear that out. You can clear it out, and you can set your own beliefs. You can set your own your non-limiting factors in your brain. So, and let your brain work while you're asleep instead of shutting down and saying, nope, you can't do that. Let it run wild and work. So I thought that was a really interesting parallel to watch that movie. I would suggest watching the movie. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was worth the time it took to watch it. But yeah, also listen to that episode of Director Detour out today, and a little tough to listen to. And like I said, he is from the south of France. He does have a very thick French accent, but I think the message in the episode was well worth listening. So check that out after you listen to this show for sure. With that, I wanted to talk to you about the Blockstream Jade and the Jade Plus hardware wallets. I talked a little bit about earning rewards on Fold earlier, on Ember. If you're stacking sats, if you're accumulating Bitcoin, if you're holding it right now or plan to in the future, security should be a top priority. I recommend the Blockstream Jade and the Jade Plus hardware wallets. I've been using the Jade now for a couple of years, and just recently, in the last few months, got my hands on a Jade Plus. And man, rock solid upgrade to the Jade. Jade is perfectly fine if that's what you want to use. Jade Plus, I think, is worth the money when you upgrade. And the cool part is tying it in with Fold. Fold right now, I was mentioning the gift card percentages back. Right now, Jade Plus or Blockstream has done a gift card promotion with Fold. Basically, you get 10% back when you buy a gift card for Blockstream. The gift card is, I believe it is big enough to buy a Jade Plus. I can't remember. They have one or two large set amount gift cards for Blockstream. One is enough to cover the Jade Plus. You can also get 10% off by using the Lots Project at checkout, or you can click the link in the video description, or here, I'll just drop it in the chat again. If you use this link, you'll get 10% off the Jade. You'll get 10% back in sats if you buy a gift card to make that purchase on Fold, and then you can stack those sats and move them onto your Jade when you get it and get it set up. Sending all these reward sats that are piling up all over the place to a Jade, to one wallet, watching them accumulate. That's the beauty, and it's going to be locked down. It's going to be offline. It's going to be in cold storage, whatever you want to talk about it. Jade's easy to use. It's easy enough for a beginner and has enough features to satisfy the more advanced security conscious. So check out Blockstream Jade and Jade Plus today. Link, like I said, in the video description, audio description, and the comments. All right. What else do we hear? Let's see. What's coming up this week? Some content we got coming out this week. Like I said, Alan Salas, today's Director Detour, doctor, chiropractor, mental, I guess you could call him a mental doctor, a brain doctor without being a psychologist or psychiatrist or brain surgeon. Basically, hey, Chris Dixon, have a great day and good luck at the car show. Have a great one. Appreciate you stopping by. He wants to help people. He's into Eastern medicine. He talks about in his story meeting up with a Chinese doctor that rented some of his boats, and he just started going down that line. And instead of going to China, and spending a decade learning medicine in Chinese, he came and learned chiropractic, but took it a step further and realized a lot of things along his career path that can help a lot of people. So you might want to check that out, Director Detour. And then later this week, I got an episode coming up of William Holston and then Dale Kirshner. Both episodes you're going to want to listen to. I've had some fantastic conversations over the last couple of weeks on recording Director Detour episodes. I have just a phenomenal list of people coming up that are on the schedule that I'm excited to talk to. So you're going to want to check that out. You can find a Director Detour site, a webpage at thelotsproject.com. You can find Director Detour in any of your podcast players. I appreciate it if you go. Hit that subscribe like you should with this show, and that helps spur me into the algorithm on, say, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and things like that. When people subscribe, and if you'd be kind enough to leave a review, that's even better. But this week I got Alan Salas, William Holston, Dale Kirshner. Fantastic episodes coming up. Also going to have a couple of review blog posts coming out on the site, thelotsproject.com. Like I said, I got a product review section there. Should have one coming out on the Blockstream Jade Plus. Also recently released one on a couple of awesome natural dog chew products that I tested out. Company sent out some, they were yak milk chews. 4 ingredients. Basically the similar to greenies, that you get for your dog to clean their teeth, the chews to clean their teeth. These are a little bigger. We were able to get the extra large version for our boys, but basically 4 ingredients, all natural. I think it was yak milk, salt, something. It was 4 ingredients. It was pretty much nothing. And the boys love them. They last. John Palmer says he never figured out a way to leave a review for a podcast. What do you listen on, John? What service do you listen on? Because if it's Apple, you might need to have a login. You might need to log in. I don't know. I should probably, if I'm asking people to do that, I should probably go through the motions and see and be able to give those instructions. But the yak chews, boys love them. Love them enough that they can't get enough of them and they want more. You can check those out. That review is on there. Hey, Rewildler Life, have a great week. Thanks for stopping in. John uses Fountain. Okay, you're not going to be able to leave a review on Fountain. You're going to be able to do Boost and Zap on Fountain. I think the reviews are coming directly from Apple Podcasts in the Spotify player and places like that. So Fountain just pulls off the Apple feed. So I think the best thing on Fountain is sharing, zapping and boosting. Obviously, boosting, streaming sats are ideal. Sharing the Fountain link is another great way. John Palmer can't do Apple. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'll try to figure something out for you. But the yak chews are great. They're probably, I would say, I don't know, 8 inches long. These ones that we get, they come in all different sizes. Native is the brand. Also tried out some calming chews from them that I reviewed. Clyde is very scared of thunderstorms. If you've listened to the show for a while, you know we had a lightning strike here, like right in the front yard by the camper. And being in a camper and being that close, it was pretty freaking loud. We've also had several other close strikes here, very, very loud thunderclaps, and he gets very nervous, like shaking, hiding, nervous. We tried these calming chews. They seem to work. We had some thunderstorms roll through yesterday afternoon, and Corey had, unbeknownst to me, given him a few of these calming treats, and I didn't know And I really didn't notice that he was upset about the storm. And this is the second time we've kind of rolled through a storm with trying out the chews, and they seem to be working. So we're pretty pleased with those. The dosing is kind of messed up since our dogs are so large. But it's a lot of treats in a bag, and I think Clyde gets anywhere from 3 to 6 depending. So it's not bad. You can check that out at thelotsproject.com under product reviews. And like I said, this week I think I'm going to be having a Blockstream Jade one come out, and a couple others on the list. I'm just going down the list trying to do them as fast as possible without rushing them. Also going to have some videos come out probably on the chews and the common chews and the yak chews, and also the Jade Plus and whatever else I can get around to. Trying to get a couple more things up in the resource section. I've been slowly picking away at that. I got the Bitcoin beginner Bitcoin resource blogs populated over the last couple of weeks. I've started to get some of the podcasting initial blog posts up, talking about Podmatch. Gotta plug Podmatch. I love the thing. That's where I find all my guests for Director Detour. If you have a podcast and you're looking for guests, it's a great way. You can't beat it. You pay $6 a month, and literally you can make up to $32 per interview. I'm not saying you make $32 every interview, but some guests, you basically get a part of their payment that they're paying to Podmatch. You get a slice of their commission. So the more they're paying for their subscription, the more you get off your affiliate or off doing the interview. And then the bigger thing I think for this audience is if you're a small business owner, you got a brand, you're a coach, you're a content creator, you have anything that you want to build authority in, build, put eyes on, get attention to, and you can speak to it. Having a guest profile on Podmatch is fantastic. Podcasters just looking for guests in your niche, and go on and get exposure, get eyes to your product. You can do as many interviews as you want, and I think plans for guest side start at like 20 something bucks a month. I think it's right in there. And so if you do a podcast a week, think about it. If you do a podcast a week, and so you got 4 podcasts a month, and you average 100 downloads. 100 downloads per podcast isn't a ton for an interview show. Say you average 100, that's 400 eyeballs you got on your message, specifically wanting to listen to that message or watch that message, because a lot of them are video now, for $20 or $30. You can't buy advertising that cheap. So guesting on podcast is I think it conveys a better message. You can talk about your product instead of having a flash ad, this, that, commercial, something like that. And so well worth the advertising money to check out podcasts. So if you go to the lotsproject.com and look in the resources under podcasting, a couple blog posts there about guesting and or hosting on Podmatch. So check those out. Corey and I have committed, I guess, or decided that as we're moving forward with the cabin and transitioning out of the RV, we're kind of trying to start taking care of ourselves a little better, eating a little better. Now that we're going to be here for a while, we can start sourcing better sources for food, better quality food, start producing some of our own food again. So we've kind of kicked on to the paleo bandwagon again. I find it easiest to follow whatever Corey's doing with her diet and things she's got going on. It just makes it easier instead of trying to do 2 different meals, this and the other. And she had very, very, very good success with paleo. Back when she had some gastrointestinal issues, she really wanted to prepare for her gallbladder surgery. And And so she ate paleo, strict paleo, for over a year, and basically ended up in the best shape of her life. Fell off it, whatever, life happens here or there. We've switched back to that. I think it's been a couple weeks now. Longer for her. She dove whole hog in early on, and I had some stuff to finish up. I had a large stockpile of tortillas and some other things that I used to like for snacks that I went through. I got rid of the rest of the burger buns and things like that. So it's been about a week for me with no sugar. I think going on a week with no real carbs and just eating whole food, meat and greens and things like that. And feeling better. Go through a little slug there when you transition, but getting better and feeling more energy, more productive, mind starting to clear up, and all the things that I love about eating clean that I always seem to forget in that moment of weakness when I break down and buy a soda or get a candy bar or something like that. But I think this time's going to go decent. We'll see. Corey's pretty committed, and I know she'll follow through. So if I can just follow her lead, it'll go great. One final thought before we wrap up. Joshua Hale, this is the last week to sign up for his next round for his Chat GPT challenge. I'm gonna throw it in the comments, and I'll try to remember to get it in the video notes and the audio notes. But I highly recommend this class. Whether you plan on using ChatGPT, whether you plan on using Grok or anything else that's coming out, developing new or anything, what you're going to learn in this challenge, and by challenge, basically the challenge part is you show up every day in the Signal group, basically a messaging group. You get the prompt, you try it. 5 to 10 minutes a day is all you really, when it comes down to it, you could probably accomplish everything he's asking you to do in 2 or 3 minutes a day. What ended up happening with me was there was a task for the day. I completed it, and it spurred a lot more thought. The sharing, the contributing, the Hive think in the Signal group was phenomenal, and it spurred more than what we were learning in the challenge, more than the daily prompt, more than the daily lesson. It's going to give you 4 weeks of solid basis to understand how to use AI. It's teaching you how to think about what you need to do to use it. It's programming you to be able to use the tools that are in front of you now, and that will be. And it translates across different AI or LLM models. And I think it's worth every penny. I think if you don't get your money's worth out of it, and you tell Joshua, I don't know this for sure. I'm not saying there's a money back guarantee, but I can confidently say that I don't think you're going to get to the end and go, oh, I didn't get my money's worth. And I really think if you didn't, Joshua would take the opportunity to take the feedback and probably refund you. I'm not saying he will, but I'm guessing there's a chance, because there's a very slim chance that you won't get your value out of it. So stay up to date, guys. This is not going away. If you've seen the developments between OpenAI and Elon and Gronk and all of these things, these aren't going away. They're only getting more entrenched. They're only getting more developed. They're only more of them are popping up, and I think it's going to get easier and easier to host your own, create your own models, and knowing the basis of how to interact with it and how to get what you want out of it. This is what this class is going to teach you. So check that out. Like I said, I will definitely remember to get that in the video notes. Next round starts next Monday. So before this show goes on again, I think registrations are going to be closed. So So check it out before this round closes and you miss out again. Hunter asks, does he teach you how to get on its good side so you're favored during the AI takeover? Yeah, I would say he definitely gave a lot of ways to manipulate the model and get it to recognize who you are and the types of things you want. And I contemplated taking it again because of the changes in AI since the February challenge. So we'll see. Yeah, other than that, let's wrap up real quick. Unless anybody's got some questions, you can drop them over in the chat and we can talk about that. Looks like Zap.stream froze up hard. They've been having a tough time with that site lately. It is what it is. It's in development. So final thoughts, be sure to check out comfreyroots.com. You want to get Comfrey on your property, check out comfreyroots.com. And then also the Blockstream Jade and Jade Plus. If you need help setting up the Jade or Jade Plus, or you're just starting on your Bitcoin journey and you want a little help, you can always reach out to me. I'll sit down with you. We'll take 10-15 minutes, determine where you want to be, determine where you want to be with Bitcoin, and determine if I can help you get there, and step by step, and we'll figure it out. So you can always email me at info@thelotsproject.com. John Palmer says, is my favorite color yellow? No, it's not. No. So the Blockstream J Plus, you need help with those. You need help getting started in Bitcoin, definitely reach out or check out the website and the resources over there. Should be new ones coming up anytime. Other than that, I appreciate everyone hanging out. We're going to try to wrap them at an hour here. I hope you like the new format. Today we talked about our trip to Delinquents Gully. We talked about the new Fold rewards and stacking sats with Fold and Ember. My thoughts on Limitless and how it tied in with Dr. Alan Salas's interview over on Director Detour, and a little preview for the week coming up. So I hope you all have a fantastic week. I hope you make it a good one, get everything you want in life and accomplish. Be sure to check out those sponsors, all the links in the video description, and head over to thelotsproject.com and dig around over there. Have a good one, guys, and we'll talk to you next week.